Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. Another week's episode here. I'm Ryan Harding, and today we have Cameron Ure with us. He is, a little bit about him, he's married with a kid on the way here, and so his life's about to change.
100%.
And in a good way, for sure. So as far as real estate goes, when he started, he was Rookie of the Year. And that first year he did about 10 million in real estate, which is awesome. The second year he did about 15 million, and this is his third year. He's on pace to do over 20 million. So obviously constantly improving his business, continuing to grow it. Another thing, and this is one of the main reasons we want to talk to him today too, is he's also an investor. He believes in the product he's doing, right? Which I think is, I wish more realtors did that. But he believes in his product. He is an investor himself, and anyhow, happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So welcome. Let's dive right in. Tell us about how you got into real estate here. So
sure, I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. To be honest, I was addicted to it from the first page, and realized that I wanted to create something bigger than myself, and so I wasn't always the formal education type person. I wanted to jump into my own business, and so I jumped into real estate and learned very quickly that it's not easy, and it was hard for the first little while until I started to learn the right method to implement into my business that made me more successful because it fit my personality, and then it kind of just took off from there. So I've honestly just jumped head first and just went for it.
It's awesome. And you've enjoyed it. Obviously been successful at it.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah, it's been great.
Okay. Well, tell us about your D2D experience here. As far as how does that help helped grow your business and stuff?
For sure. So when I started with cold calls. Okay. I was on the phones all day long and close in business doing that, but it was just a brutal lifestyle. Yeah. I was making calls, didn't enjoy it, and didn't feel like I was having the success I needed. And so I was introduced to my mentor, Dwayne Richens. He's a door-to-door guy, and he taught me door-to-door real estate. And so I just started pounding the doors, and it took me about 4 months before my business took off. But that month, I put like 10 under contract, and then it just blew up since then, and I haven't really looked back since. And so I just kind of lived and died on the doors.
Which, a lot of people don't think of door-to-door for real estate, right? I'm thinking more pest control, security systems, right? But obviously you've been able to make it work with real estate then.
Yeah, the nice part is I didn't even really have to knock very long. I put in a good year, a little over a year of consistently knocking, and haven't really had to prospect since. It's kind of just flowed in off of that upfront work and kind of the reputation I built off of door knocking. Okay. So it's kind of like supercharged my business.
That's awesome. Would you recommend it to other agents?
Absolutely, 100%. Okay. If you have the grit to do it, it'll take you from where you're at now and 10x your business, guaranteed. Do you have background in door-to-door? Did you do? Nope.
Okay.
Zero.
So, okay.
No.
So you just started going. And what's kind of the pitch there? I mean, how do you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really simple. I just treat it like I'm talking to a neighbor, where I show up and just say, hey, I have people looking in this neighborhood. Have you ever considered selling your house? And I just have a conversation with the person.
Sure.
And if they've thought about it, I help them along the process. There's a lot of tact and skill to it with question-based selling, and that's kind of what I now coach, is how to have that conversation on the door. But it's really just genuinely trying to help people, because if people are looking to sell, there's lots of benefits to doing it sooner rather than later, and how to strategically use their equity, and so it's kind of fun because you're just genuinely benefiting people.
Sure.
It's not like a salesy, like, hey, buy my program or my knife set or whatever, it's sure. Actually like, hey, I'm going to benefit you.
Kirby vacuum.
Exactly. So,
yeah. Let me vacuum your house.
Yeah.
So you mentioned coaching. So obviously you're teaching. So you're teaching other people about this then?
Yeah, 100%. So
tell us about that.
I worked super hard. I got to the point where I was helping other agents in our brokerage learn door-to-door, and now I am launching a real D2D coaching program with some of my partners at our brokerage to help agents learn door-to-door real estate to kind of take their business to the next level. And so that's kind of where our podcast is coming in and the coaching program. So
okay. So really taking it, a lot further than, I guess.
Yeah,
obviously,
absolutely.
hey, I figured this out. I really know what I'm doing here. Let's go and get some other people?
I think with everybody in your business, my business, the market's a weird time right now, and I feel like you're going to have to do what other people aren't willing to do to have success. And a lot of people aren't willing to door knock, and I feel like those are the agents or even loan officers that are kind of gonna get left behind because it's a dog-eat-dog world right now with rates and prices. And so that's kind of where we're trying to give back and say, hey, we've done this, and if you're willing to put in the work, we can help you achieve what we have, you know.
Gotcha.
So
no, I like that. And you're right. I mean, the market's shifting, and you know, when I first started, it was right before the crash, and obviously I had to learn to work, you know, hard really quickly, and a lot of people got out of the industry and stuff like that during that time when things got hard. So yeah, same thing again right now, right?
Yep.
You know, the industry's tightening up, things are a little bit harder, and so we've had a lot of influx of realtors and loan officers and stuff, and I think you're going to see a lot get out of the industry, which, you know, again, I don't always think is a bad thing, because it does force those that are in it to really work hard.
Yeah, and I would not complain 100%. I'm fine taking on the business. So.
Agreed. Well, let's switch gears here to something that I'm passionate about, and I know you are too. So we kind of have some fun here a little bit. But you do short-term rentals and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So I took a little sabbatical pretty much to Florida.
Okay.
Got licensed in Florida and pretty much learned the short-term rental market to help my clients buy those type of investment properties, because they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. And so I love them 100%.
So what makes them different? Why that? I guess here's the question: why do you prefer Airbnbs versus a traditional monthly rental?
It's hard to say, because both are phenomenal. I mean, both are great investments depending on your strategy. The short-term rental just has the potential to cash flow 10 times the amount of the others, you know, and especially if you have the right property, it also provides for a lifestyle asset where if you buy it in the right place where you want to visit, you can use it and enjoy your real estate that you purchased, you know, and so it's just a great investment all around. I think they're awesome.
Which, you know, you actually said that very well. I would agree. Those are the two reasons I would say for owning a short-term rental. Is you make more money and you also get to enjoy it yourself.
Absolutely.
Although you said it a lot more eloquently than I did. You know, I guess the only thing I would add to that is they are more work, right? I mean, you know, you are doing more work for it and stuff like that. But ultimately, like anything, more work, more reward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with the traditional real estate investment. There's probably less risk because of the work and what goes into a short-term rental. But if you purchase it right, I mean, there's almost always just upside. Sure. And that's why you just got to know how to run the numbers and make a good investment. So,
and how do you how do you run the numbers? What do you use to run the numbers?
A big spreadsheet. I pretty much am just a geek, and I just plug in all the numbers, the costs of everything, and if it spits out a good return, it's a good buy, and I go from there. So
gotcha.
I kind of base it off of numbers, not emotion. So.
Sure. It always is a numbers game. Yeah. And so do you own any nightly rentals then?
As of right now, no. Okay. I own only traditional real estate investments, but that's my next purchase. I'm looking at one right now in South Carolina.
South Carolina, nice.
Yeah.
What area of South Carolina?
Pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
This one's right by the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So yeah, just right on the beach.
Okay.
So.
My wife's from Georgia, so we've been up to Tybee Island and
nice.
And what's the other place called that's a little more expensive? Anyhow, but
yeah, I don't know the names of stuff either. I just think it looks pretty and the numbers work.
It is pretty and the numbers do work, and so well, that's awesome. So yeah, I know short-term rentals. You know, like I said, I think you said it really well with the you get to enjoy a place, right? You know, you're building a family right now. You're starting off with your first kid and stuff, and so to be able to, take them to a place that you own, right, to go enjoy it, kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it's like a free vacation.
Yeah.
You get to stay where you own, and you're getting all the benefits of real estate, and so it's kind of a win-win.
So have you been helping people buy Airbnbs and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Airbnbs are awesome for multiple reasons, from tax benefits to investors tapping into the real estate profession, like tax benefits. I mean, you can scale your income and have it not even really account towards your debt to income ratio with Airbnbs, and so there's tons and tons of benefits that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
And also you can make just a grip ton of money doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like almost like with this time in the market, with interest rates increasing and cash flow getting really, really tight, a short-term rental is almost like the perfect solution for it, where if you still want a cash flow with a high interest rate, if you find the right property with a short-term rental, you still can make a good investment, and you're not just in the red or breaking even.
Sure.
So
Sure. What, obviously here in Utah, where do you recommend people go buy a, short-term rental at, I guess,
if you want to sell your firstborn for it, St. George.
Yep. A little expensive?
Yeah, expensive and competitive.
Sure.
And then Northern Utah, to be honest. There's some hidden gems up there with ski resorts and potential Airbnbs that you can fix up and renovate, do a cash out refinance, get all your money back out, and have it cash flow still in areas like that. And so Utah's still strong. I mean, there's lots of places that you can win when a lot of people think that Utah's overpriced now and there's no good investments here.
Sure. You mentioned Florida. You lived in Florida for a little bit. What did you, kind of explore the short-term rental market there a little bit, I guess?
Yeah, totally. There's
I've heard there's a place called Disney World there, right?
Right.
So.
Some good stuff there. I was in northern Florida in the Jacksonville area, and there's some great areas in there as well. St. Augustine, Palm Coast, Fernandina Beach. Those were all three areas that I analyzed that were pretty solid for the short-term rental market. So. Gotcha.
Okay. Awesome. So you mentioned traditional rentals and stuff like that. Why do you like traditional rentals too?
It's just easy. I mean, you get to the point where if you can place the right tenant, and honestly, placing the right tenant is probably the most important part, because that's where your work comes in. Because if you have a bad tenant, you're going to have a horrible experience. But with a long-term rental, it's just passive income that is pretty streamlined, and once again, the tax benefits to real estate. I mean, if you buy a property every single year, you do a cost segregation on it and write it off on your taxes, it's a kind of a way to cheat the government.
Yeah.
And so, I love them.
Well, that's, that it's interesting you say that. I mean, like, I always counsel people, hey, real estate is a great get rich slowly, kind of
100%.
thing. And, not get rich quick, but you get it rich slowly. And one of the best part about real estate is that tax advantage. Whereas, you sell stocks, like, hey, you're paying, it's very regulated. You're paying a lot of money on that income. Real estate, not so much, right?
No, yeah. And the great part about a traditional rental is if you just get in and the numbers work for the time being, you can scale your real estate portfolio just with one property. Because say you bought 2 years ago and now you're 150 grand in equity, you use a HELOC or whatever you need to pull that equity out, and now you're buying another one, and you're just rinsing and repeating the process. And that's why just getting in is almost more important, because you'll never time the market, and prices are always going to be the price. The interest rate is more important. And so buy real estate. That's all I can say.
Buy real estate. No, I agree. And going back to Airbnbs a little bit, I have two of them myself, and I have one down in St. George, where you're right, it is expensive. And then I have one up in Island Park, Idaho.
Nice.
And near Yellowstone and stuff like that, right? And so I've found it. I found them to be great investments. A couple things I guess I would say is they are not always easy. I'm a pretty nice guy myself, and I've been in 2 lawsuits because of those rentals. So, both for I lost one and I won one. On the lawsuits and stuff like that. So they're not always easy. You get. And again, I've owned these for several years, so I think I think people are starting to realize these are here to stay.
For sure.
But in the beginning, there's a lot of people against them, and so if you're, even though I was legally good on both of them, it just you get people that either on one were trying to take some of my money, and on the other one didn't like what I was doing, even though it was legal and stuff like that. So it, there is work.
Oh yeah, the risk is there 100%, and a lot of people are now seeing on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram of like buy an Airbnb, buy a short-term rental, and making
Yeah.
it look super easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy at all.
No, it's
especially
not.
if you're buying the property that's not already an established property.
Yeah.
You have to build the reviews, and it's not like, okay, I listed my Airbnb, I'm going to make a couple grand a month now off of it.
Yeah.
It's going to take you months to build that up. There's potential guests that will trash the place. You're
Yep.
replacing linens, furniture. Like,
Yeah.
it's a business, 100%. And,
Yeah, it
and just
is.
like you said earlier, you got to work hard to get that return, and that's just life, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. If you're not willing to work hard, you're not going to get the benefits.
Work
So,
hard. Well, you got to work hard. That's exactly it. No,
I like the name.
that's right. Work hard, play hard. We got it.
Exactly.
You know, hey, no, I agree, and I've learned a lot, I guess, from I've had people trash the house. A bunch of spring breakers go to St. George and
Yep.
bring all the blankets outside into the red sand. That was fun,
Yeah.
But that's rare, to be honest. Most people know how to take care of a house,
Totally.
which is nice, you
Yeah.
know. But not everybody, and so you do occasionally get those, and so having a good cleaner is important, and stuff like that. But
Yeah. Having the right system and tools is really important, because a lot of people think you can just buy it and then list it.
Yep.
But there's an actual system, there's equipment you want to get, and there's important steps you want to take to actually set yourself up for success. Because if you don't, you're going to run into those problems like noise complaints and way too many guests at your property.
Yep.
And people stealing stuff like that. Those are real issues. But you're right, most of the time people are pretty respectful, and that's a nice thing. So
yeah, nope, agreed. And yeah, no, I agree. It is becoming more popular, Airbnbs and stuff like that, and so I know there's a lot of competition at the 3-bed, 2-bath range, right? You know, the townhome that shares a pool, different things like that,
Yeah,
and so
totally.
I guess. But at the same time, hey, that gets you in the game. Hey, do it, and again, depending on how often you go down to wherever your second home is, this Airbnb and stuff like that obviously makes sense and
Yeah.
stuff. But
yeah.
I've found success, I guess, at more of the top of the market. I cater to more the family reunion style house.
Totally.
So like, hey, sleeps 30 people, right? So hey, come here, bring multiple families, so we can charge more per night. But obviously, that's harder to get into. It costs more to get. You have
Yeah.
bigger down payment, bigger home, bigger mortgage,
Yeah.
more risk.
For sure. There's a lot of people that just want a vacation home
Yeah.
that haven't really learned that Airbnb is an option.
Yeah.
And they've just been losing out on all that money that they haven't even been able to tap into, because they're like, okay, half the year we're not even there, and it just sits vacant.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's a huge reason why the numbers are exploding, is because people are realizing I can make money off of a bunch of stuff. I can make
Yeah.
money off of my vacant garage. I
Yeah,
can make money
sure.
off of a vacant house I don't live in.
Yeah.
And it's just like a land of opportunity right now that I think is definitely worth tapping into.
Yeah, the sharing economy, right? That's kind of
Exactly.
where we're going. Yeah, no. Well, and that's kind of always been my thought, is like, hey, like you want to own some of these things, but the reality is that there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah.
And I like where I live. I'm not looking to go to St. George permanently. I like here. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
I like St. George. It's fun to go down there, but I like Lehigh where I live, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my kids have sports and school and different things like that. So I just can't constantly go.
Of course.
So yeah, might as well let somebody else use it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And try to make some money in the process. So, nope, agreed. Okay. Anything else on short-term rentals that you want to talk about? Any other, thoughts on? I think we've hit a lot of it, but
Yeah, I mean, you can speak more on this than I probably can. Just the opportunity to get into them for less down potentially with
Sure.
the vacation home loan. Obviously, it's a little bit more tough now with the rates and things changing and programs disappearing and things like that. But in a up market and a good time to buy, it's a great opportunity where you're only having to put 10% down and you can get into a property rather than putting 20-25% down. So
Yeah.
that's probably my last comment I'll make, is just if you time it right, you can scoop up some properties for not as much money and they make you more money. So
gotcha. Nope, love it. Okay. Well, as far as the market right now and stuff like that, any forecast on on where you think the market's going to go and stuff like that?
I wish I had a crystal ball.
Come on. Where's the crystal ball here, right?
I think for the time being, I don't think home prices are going to collapse. I think a lot of people are like, I'm waiting for the crash. And the biggest thing I'm trying to educate people on is, okay, you've been waiting for home prices to come down for how many decades now, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not decades, but for the last 10 years, I've heard people talk about, I've been waiting for the crash. It's a cyclical type of cycle. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that the math actually works out to where if home prices dipped and you're stuck at a 6% interest rate, your mortgage is actually more.
Yeah.
And so it's actually costing you more and you can afford less. And so regardless of where prices necessarily go, I mean, I'm in the process of buying a home, and I don't necessarily really care if home prices go down, because if I know that I'm going to be in the home for long enough, or I'm going to keep it as a rental, it doesn't really matter because of the rate I'm going to try to lock in. And so that's what I think most people should focus on, is not necessarily the purchase price, but what their payment's going to be over the next X amount of years that they plan to be in the home. So
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. No, I love it. Any other advice you'd give to buyers or sellers right now?
There is a huge opportunity right now with properties sitting on the market, which is surprising for people to hear, but they're there. I think a lot of people are getting surprised where a listing agent is pricing the home accordingly to 4 months ago. And so they're sellers like, I'm shooting for the moon with this price, and it's been on the market for 2 weeks. And a lot of buyers are thinking, I don't have the money to go $30,000 over appraised value or whatever needed to be 6 months ago, but you can scoop up properties at or below list price if you have the right agent to guide you to where those are. And so my advice, I guess, is search, because a lot of people are picky currently on what they're looking for. And if you know the true benefit to real estate and how it can actually help you, getting in is more important than finding your dream home. That's how I started. I started with a condo, and I wasn't super pumped about it, but there's nothing wrong with that. It was fantastic, and because of that, I've now been able to buy several homes, and it's set me up for the future of having tons of equity and being able to roll that into other investments. And so that's why I'm telling people just to search and find something and just get in, and so they can kind of ride that wave and stop paying somebody else's mortgage. So
love it. Okay. Cameron, thanks for coming on. Good discussion about obviously door knocking and Airbnbs, and I love that you're coaching other people, helping them grow their business, right? I mean, hey, you're successful. Let's help some other people be successful, right?
Totally.
So
it works if you work hard.
Yeah,
so
it does. No, agreed. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Work Hard, Play Hard podcast out.